what do we feel like is it, you know, it's a conversation we're having a lot these days, it seems like, about accents and, you know, essential stories versus specific stories, and what do you feel like is gained or lost in either approach?
Our first reading of it, our table read with Factory and everybody there, we had our Newfoundland accents, and you know, we were doing it, and we came back to rehearsal the next day, and he was like, I don't want to put this on you yet, because you know, you put work into these accents, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to go that way. And then it was like, okay, well, where are we going to go? And it was kind of like, I don't know, you know. And then as we started working it, we just found that the accents and then the props, then it all sort of was taking away from the essence of like this beautiful love story. And he wanted to distill it to just that story of this love between these two people and their relationships with each other and their families. And so yeah, so it just slowly became this process of paring down. We just pared everything down, and we realized, okay, well, if we don't need that, then we also don't need this. We don't need these set pieces. We don't need these wardrobe items, and yeah, we just sort of really simplified.
The story of Buhagiar is born of such a distinct culture, and especially to put the events in a different place would change the whole course of the story, I think. And the accent, funnily enough, was for us such a crucial one, just because you know, it influences the way they move and the way that they interact with each other. It influences sort of their sense of, you know, sexuality and even closeness with, you know, the way that they connect physically with each other. Sort of the lilt and the tone and the pace of the way they speak seemed to be so crucial for us establishing physical relationships with each other.
If I have to do a play with an accent now or a dialect, I will do no dialect, and if the director wants a dialect, then I'll slowly add the dialect. Because sometimes, at least for myself, I find I'm informed more by the dialect than when I'm doing it, if that makes any sense. I fall into the trap of playing the sound instead of actually playing the action. So it's kind of, I find it really liberating now when a director says, you know what, don't worry about it. Just do the play.
I feel like it's a bit colonial now.
I think it is.
Like I did a show a year and a half ago or whatever, like Tribes, and when we got to the first rehearsal and we were like, oh, okay, let's do this. So we're all learning the accent. I had to learn the accent in advance, and I'm like, this is funny. I was like, are we still doing this? Like, we're pretending we're from another country? Like, I don't know. It's so odd. It's just odd. Like, it feels like, is that what this play's about? Like, is that, like, can we tell that story without, what does that mean? I don't know. Like, maybe not everything you're saying sounds really legit.
Yeah,
so
for us it felt
It's
nearly
different.
impossible. Even the vernacular, you know, even sort of the words that they would choose to use. You wouldn't use that word if you were saying it in a Canadian, Torontonian accent. And I think, you know, because it is so timely, this one it was so rooted in today and the political and social climate in the South today, and so we felt that was going to be crucial for us telling that story.
I tend to get cast as a Middle Eastern woman, and the issue that comes up, not so much accents, but the veil. To wear the veil or not. I was in a show called Scorched, and then Sunday in Sodom. I'll just focus on that more now, but that was major discussions, and our names got changed constantly to Muslim sounding to not Muslim, and we did not. Initially, it was okay. So this is a war zone area. Where is it?
Right.
And Jordan did not want it to be specific. That is the blessing of having the writer there. When it's a new play, and things kept changed right to the last preview, and even during the the other female actress and I, there's just two women in the show, were adamant that we should not be Muslim. and because I did not want to isolate it away. And it's not about that. It's about the crux of the piece. It's about it's a love story, or it's a mother's love, or making the choice to love rather than the vague thought, or whatever, and stuff. So those are big choices to make. And Scorch was the same thing. I know Washti, the writer, didn't want it to be a specific war zone area, although we spoke Arabic. I was singing Arabic songs, and we did wear veils. But that was the director's choice, you know. So it's that, you know, how specific should you be? It's really interesting. It's mainly the director and if it's a new play, the writer who chooses that.
It's such a very different position that I'm in. Such a very, very different position, because I'm writing the work and then performing the work and working in collaboration with Amina Alfred, who is like a longtime collaborator. But also the work is in nation language. And, it's such a very important choice to write in nation language for the pieces that are set in Jamaica. One, because it makes it culturally specific, but two, because it's so important to cultivate this relationship with Canadian audiences who is a multi-dimensional audience, like a multilingual, multicultural, multi-ethnic, multiracial, multi-class. I mean, it's like Toronto audiences are one of the most beautiful audiences for me, because everybody's in the room. And everybody's in the room, we come with all of our different perspectives. So to perform in nation language, stretches all of our levels of comfort with each other in the room. And audiences, often I will go into like very, very deep nation language, depending on, the excitement of the scene, and the physicality has to be a part of what helps the audience to come along with the story, because it is like so deeply like proverbial in nation language with like all these like grammar and syntax from the continent, and it gets very exciting. But what that does is it really allows this developing relationship between myself, or the creators of the work, and these audiences to say, it is very specific, but in its specificity, we're aiming at a universality. That this is, and it does mean that sometimes you do lose certain words. It really, like that, it inevitably happens. And I know sometimes there's this idea that, you have to get everything, and you have to get, it's really not, that does not happen in the room. You lose words, but I feel like within that is like room for the imagination and room for us to rely on other ways of getting the story that, that have to transcend language to a large degree.
So Iceland, having traveled to different places there, it feels to me like not really a Canadian specific story, but a Toronto specific story. Like there's references to Liberty Village and in Parkdale.
And you've taken it elsewhere.
Yes. So, but I don't know, if you were going to do a run of that show for a long time in another place, I wonder if they would change the names of the places so that it could like relate to that specific audience. Like I hear you to be like what you're doing, as like the creator of the story, like the maker of the story, being very specific about where you're setting it, and that's important to you as a storyteller. And I think that that's why like sometimes the British accents feel so false to me, because it's like this, and maybe it's specifically British, is that it's like we're a colony, and we don't think that we can tell, we have to put on the accent so that we, there's something very strange about that.